Look closely at this fabric. In the late 12th century, the ability to drape yourself in heavy, vibrant silk meant you held real power. And in the wealthy trading city of Assisi, a young man named Giovanni di Pietro di Bernardone, known to history as Francis, grew up surrounded by it. His father, Pietro, was a highly successful cloth merchant. Because of that thriving business, Francis enjoyed a remarkably comfortable youth, marked by fine clothes, abundant leisure, and a vibrant social standing among the city's elite. Francis set his sights on the prestige of the battlefield, dreaming of the fame and romantic glory reserved for a knight. At this stage in his life, he measured his personal worth by the metrics his society celebrated: the accumulation of wealth, the height of his social prestige, and the promise of battlefield valor. This map shows the tight, mountainous corridor between Assisi and its rival, Perugia. When tensions between the two city-states erupted into open conflict, Francis eagerly rode out, seeing it as his opportunity to finally seize the status he craved. The dream evaporated almost instantly. The Assisian forces were defeated, and Francis was captured. Instead of winning glory, he was thrown into a miserable Perugian prison cell as a prisoner of war, where he remained locked away for nearly a year. The contrast was brutal. Stripped of his fine clothes and comfortable life, the dark, damp reality of his captivity broke him down, severely damaging his physical health and spirit. All the family wealth back home offered absolutely zero protection in that cell. The trauma of imprisonment hollowed out his former ambitions, leaving a profound spiritual vacuum that readied him for a different path. When Francis eventually returned to Assisi, he was restless. He began distancing himself from his old social circles, seeking out quiet places to pray as he struggled to understand what his life was actually for. Look at these crumbling walls. This is a recreation of the ruined church of San Damiano. According to traditional accounts, it was here, while praying alone before a crucifix, that Francis experienced a profound call from Christ to repair his church. Francis took the command literally at first. He hauled stones and physically patched up ruined chapels around Assisi. Over time, he realized the call demanded a deeper renewal of Christian life through radical devotion to the gospel. While traveling, Francis encountered a leper. Though he had always harbored a deep physical revulsion toward the disease, he forced himself to approach and embrace the man. In that moment, his worldview shifted. He saw the face of Christ in the outcast. The climax of his conversion was public and jarring. In the middle of the city square, during a bitter legal dispute over money with his father, Francis stripped off his fine merchant clothing. He handed the garments back, publicly renouncing every ounce of his family wealth and inheritance. In this moment of total vulnerability, Francis appeared to have found a sense of security and purpose that his father's gold could never provide. Francis carried his poverty with a unique, infectious joy. This magnetic way of life soon drew others who wanted to share in his radically simple approach to the gospel. See the movement expanding outward on this timeline. Francis traveled to Rome for church approval, founding the Order of Friars Minor. Notice this secondary branch. Inspired by his example, Clare of Assisi formed a close spiritual partnership, founding a parallel community, the Poor Clares. Because Francis had surrendered all claims to personal property, he began to view the entire natural world as his home, seeing a brother or sister in every part of God's creation. Tradition associates him with composing the Canticle of the Creatures, a prayer praising God through the sun, the wind, and the sweeping Italian landscapes. By stripping away the concept of ownership, Francis removed the barriers between himself and the rest of humanity, allowing him to embrace the world more intimately than the monarchs of his day. In his later years, Francis focused his energy on prayer, specifically meditating on the Passion of Christ. In 1224, he withdrew to the harsh, isolated mountains of Laverna for a period of deep fasting and contemplation. It was here, according to Catholic tradition, that Francis received the stigmata, wounds resembling those of Christ's crucifixion. The Church remembers this as a physical manifestation of his total, transformative love for God. His body now outwardly mirrored his internal state, a life completely surrendered to the divine will. Francis died in Assisi on October 3, 1226. Recognizing the immense impact of his life, Pope Gregory IX canonized him just 2 years later, in 1228. He remains a permanent symbol within the Catholic Church, a reminder of the power of humility, service to the poor, and a deep, reverent love for all of creation. Francis began his life searching for greatness. He ended it having discovered something greater, the joy of belonging completely to God. Saint Francis of Assisi, pray for us. Teach us to love God, to serve others, and to treasure the gifts of His creation.